Okay, so the first thing I've done, I've gone onto the Papercut server and I've gone to obviously this PC, C drive, program files, Papercut MF. So then we need to go to providers and then hardware. Look for our Ricoh. So the first thing you have to do, you have to run this remote operation client which configures some settings on the machine. So double click the batch file, yes to that, and then after a moment or two it should open up the input window for setting up the machine. So I've already added it here, but I'm just going to take it away so you can see it again. So I'm just going to delete that. So file, add, IP address of the machine. Okay. The admin login for the actual web browser. Just make sure you delete those stars. And then it has to be HTTPS on this particular machine. I'm going to leave the rest. Hit OK. So there's the machine. So next thing we have to do is highlight it, right click, initialize, and then we'll just wait for this to initialize the actual operation, and it'll come up with the IP, the serial number of the machine and the model. So it takes a moment or two. There we go. So that's now ready. So the next thing you need to do is you need to configure that. So go to device. Now we want to configure for a smart SDK. We generally do that on everything now. All the new machines will only work with that one. Some of the old ones used to use this one. So we're going to go with the new machines. So select it, hit run, and now this is going to configure the machine's codes basically to be ready for the smart screen. So give it a moment or two. It should come up okay. Okay, so that's now done. It took about 10 minutes in the end, a bit longer than normal. There we go. So that window's finished with, so we can close that. Okay, and I can close that now. So the next thing we need to go is to the actual panel of the machine. So as I'm doing this remotely, I'm just going to go to the remote panel. So go to the web browser. Okay, make sure you're logged in. This is probably logged out by now, but let's just refresh it. Okay, so it's IP address of the machine. The rest of it's just added on automatically. So it has logged out, which is what I thought. So in this case, it's admin. It's most likely to be the newer login for yourselves. Okay, so then we're going to go to device management, and remote panel in this instance. So it takes a little bit to open this. Okay, so that's now done. So the next thing is you need to go to home, and we need to log into the machine again just to activate the next bit. So there's no icons showing at all at the moment because it's all locked down. So I'm just going to go to the right screen, into user tools, it opens up. Click that again, there it goes. User tools, machine features. So then we need to log in as admin again. So hit login, admin, and then admin again. Okay. So once we've got to the screen, just exit that. Hit home. Go to the dots. Papercut. Put in the name you want to call the device. So in my case here, I'm just going to call it Ricoh, and I'm just going to call it training, and then just do next. Into that. IP address or a name of the server. So I'm going to go with the name itself, which is up here. ASL-dev SVR03. So ASL -dev SVR03, and on the smart panels you need to put in the domain name, which is ASL training in this case, and it's internal, I believe. It might be local. Oops, internal. If I've got that wrong, it's going to error. If I've got it right, it should ask us for a certificate. No certificate. I missed something there. Nice.com. Yeah, my mistake. Go back in there again. I'm going to edit that. So it's .com. Done. Save. And it should now ask us to confirm a certificate, which is here. And then all being well, it should then talk to the PaperCut server and then configure this screen. Okay, so that bit's done. So I'm now just going to go to the PaperCut screen, which is hiding behind here. I'm already logged in. So if I refresh the devices, we should see a Ricoh training, which is there, and there's the IP address, so I know it's the right machine. Hit that, and then that just lets us configure the login and other details, so you can put a department if you wanted to, but I'm not going to worry about that for the minute. So I don't want username and password, I want an ID number, don't need a PIN, which is like a two-factor authentication. I'm going to mask my PIN number so it doesn't come up on the screen, and you can tell it what to track, so copying, scanning, faxing. Copying is the only one we want at the moment. I don't want it to show this screen, so I'm going to turn it off. Pre-release, that's what we want it for, so into there. We've got our follow me queue, that's the same server that we're just put into the machine, so I'll keep that the same. Let's go down a little bit here, and we've got enable find me printing support, so that's normally when you're using the virtual queues, otherwise you would have that off and it just comes out on one queue. So tick that on, and then again you select the queue the job's going to output to. As it happens, this print queue is actually on here already, which is that one there. And then all the way down here, I'm going to enable my integrated scanning. Down a bit further, and hit OK. So then if I go back to my device, it doesn't update straight away. I found the quickest way to make it update. Hit admin, then hit back, and then it straight away will talk to the machine. And there we go, so it's now asking for an ID number, so you can type in your PIN, which you didn't see, and log in. And there you go, so that's now working. Device functions. So there's one more bit we need to do. So if you go back to user tools, and then screen features, so in here, we go down to the bottom, which hopefully it'll let me do. I'm not sure how well this works remotely. I'll just do the arrow keys. So screen device settings, we want that, hit that. Function priority, very important, select that, and then make sure PaperCut has got the little bullet point in it there. So when the machine does a reset, it will go to the PaperCut screen and not something else. So now I can hit log out, and then that will go back to our login screen, and that should be it all done. There we go. Okay, so that's the Ricoh Smart Screen PaperCut install.